All right, welcome back to my Tesla Powerwall. Before I do the capacity discharge test, I kind of want to show you how I'm going to set it up. So what I'm going to be using for the test is called an iCharger. Now I've seen Mike from Lithium Solar and Peter from HP Powerwall do reviews and actually use these guys. So I went ahead and over the last year, because I've been working on this for a while, picked up a couple of these because I kind of had an idea after I built this guy. So I will be using this. I will also be using this. It's a 10 gauge cable that I soldered and put on the back of an XT60 cable. And the same with these. These are just really good. With the clamp, they're super strong. And I did notice if you use kind of a weaker clamp, you'll notice that this drops a lot quicker from 30 amps. Because as soon as I push on it, it literally goes back up to 30 amps. So I'll clip that on. And then also this balancing cable. The balancing cable will be used just because the iCharger, for some reason will only charge it to about like 4.13 or so before it says it's charged, which I mean, it pretty much is. But I'm trying to get it to 4.2 exactly. And the only real way to do that is to use a balancing cable. So I'll be using that as well. And then eventually what I'll have, once this guy is done, I want to kind of have this just rolling. So once this guy is done with its capacity test, and I will do a time lapse on this guy. But once he's done and discharged, I'm going to pretty much leave it here. And then I'll have a new pack that I'm going to test and put it here. This battery will be kind of like the middle guy. He's only half charged, but the pack over here will be fully charged. That will do a discharge test into this guy while it charges this guy. So you really won't see any difference in here. And just doing the math, I might see a little bit of discharging coming from here at some point. And in that case, I have a little 24 volt 4 amp charger that should push it back up in case it just starts going strong down in the downward direction, because I don't think just the way these work it's going to go upward, so unless I plug it in. So I'll go ahead, and that's my infinity gauntlet just because I found it and I put it up. And I love Marvel movies, just FYI. But anyway, I'll go ahead and get this all set up, and then we'll start the discharge test, and then I'll kind of just set it up and then show you the settings on the iCharger, and then from there we'll do the discharge test. And once that's done, then I'll have everything set back up here, and I'll show you exactly how I kind of want this to just go, because eventually it's going to be like an assembly line. One will get done, and you got to remember too, just really quickly, once this gets done, it should be between 640 650 amp hours. If it's something drastically small like 630 or 635, I'm going to not open it up, but get a voltmeter and essentially test every single cell, just going across it to find out which one maybe didn't have a good soldering point, or the positive guy just, fell off, or whatever. Or maybe I snapped one of the back ends because it's a thinner wire. So it's always something like that. I'm always finding at least one when I retest it. So, I mean, it's 240. You're bound to mess up. I'm human. But yeah, so I'll go ahead and get this set up, and we will go from there. All right. All right, now that I have it all hooked up, just kind of want to quickly show you. So I have the positive on the positive end, and the negative on the negative end. And I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Let's do that right now, actually. Okay. So we got to grab a cable from down here. Sorry, I'm holding it as I do this. Go ahead and plug it in. All right, now I've already put the settings on this, so just and there's tons of videos on it, but if you do have everything set up, for me, since this is now being powered by this battery, what we're going to be doing is discharging it. So this is going to be putting its energy into this battery, but first we have to get this to 420, so 4.20. So I'm going to go ahead and charge it using this battery to get there. Once it's exactly there and it beeps, then I'll throw it into discharge mode. So I'll do 2 time lapses. One's going to be really quick, and the other one's going to be about 22 hours. So, but all I'm going to do on here, so you can just see it, and then I'll just time lapse it, is click the side button right there. You're going to pick lipo, not lilo, lipo. See how I have everything already set up on this side. Let me go to no. If I hold it, it goes over here. You can set it to 1S. You can set the current to 30, and then you're done. And normal balance as well. And then click on start, and yes. And then it should get going. And once it hits 4.20, again, I'll put it on the discharge test. But I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse this as well. All right. All right, so now that the test is done, as you can see in the top left there, it says done. We're now gonna put this in discharge mode. So you see how it got almost 8 amp hours back. I don't really know if that makes a huge difference, but I like to charge it all the way. But here we go. We're gonna do another time lapse, but we're now gonna set this in, just so you know, the reason it's kind of dark is it's about 3 in the morning. I just really wanted to get this started. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get it started now in time-lapse mode, and this will take about 22 hours to get done. So, and each pack will do this. There's 30 packs total. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get it started. We'll do another time-lapse and we come back. What we're gonna see is either it be 640 to 650, and here we go. Okay, now that it's done, I can show you that it did take 21 hours and 47 minutes. Like I said, it was about 22 hours, and we got 644, and it was hoping that each one would be about 640 to 650. So this worked out great. If you did notice in the time lapse, towards the end, it did drop all the way down to 10 amps, and I'm not too sure why it does that. The other one did that as well, but I'm going to continue using this one as the discharge and use the other one as the charge because I don't want to mix that up. But that is strange that it dropped like that. I honestly thought it was the clamps because I had did one discharge a while back, and I did notice that if I pushed on the cheaper clamps that I'd had, that it would start going back up to 30. But I did this time and it didn't do that. So I'm not too sure what's happening there, but it does work, and it's getting the results I was hoping for. So I'm just gonna kind of keep going with it. But so what I'm gonna do now is basically move this to charge mode, switch the iChargers out, and then on the other side over here I have this pack which is going to start doing its discharge test. I'm also going to label this up front, so the other side where the greens are what I'm going to be showing, I'm going to label that with the 644 on there. But I will continue going, and I will continue using this pack as the middle guy to go in between both packs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that set up real quick, and I'll be right back. All right, Got everything set up and labeled. So on this side, this battery is now going to be doing a discharge test. This will be the pack number 2 that will be doing it. And this one has been labeled as the discharge battery. And as you can see, it is plugged into this battery. This is the battery we just did the discharge test on and got 644 amp hours out of it. So I went ahead and labeled that and labeled this guy as the discharge, or excuse me, the charge battery. And this one's going to charge it back up to 4.2, 410, or 4.1, 4.2 volts. And then this will just basically get stored. And then I'm going to show you the whole getting the acrylic to get on both sides on this pack. I did test it, each cell. The problem is it's just really late at night and I really didn't want to set everything up. So I just went ahead and just did it. There were no errors on this one, which I kind of expected with the amp hours that came out. So what I'll do is I'll actually film this one because it should come out at a better time where I can get everything set up and I won't be too tired. But I will show you that I checked them all, and I will be doing that for each pack. But usually I'm only going to find problems when the final result is like 6:30. But anyway, this is how it's going to look. This is basically just going to be the assembly line now. One will get checked and get recharged, and another pack will come in to get discharged. So I'm going to do what I normally do, charge this back up, and then I'm going to do another, or charge this one back up, and this guy is going to do a discharge test. And I'm also going to time-lapse this guy as well. I might as well just time-lapse all 30, just because it'll kind of be fun to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and get this done. But for now, this is how it is set up. This is how it's going to go. But I'm going to show you the next 5 time lapses, and just so you see the first 5 of 30 packs that get discharged and tested. And that'll be that. So here we go. real quick. This is pack 4, but I did find an error. So I wanted to show you this real quick. If you'll look right where the needle is, boom. So I did actually test this, and this is the voltage is at 410 when the whole pack just discharged down to 3.05. So what I have to do is basically just take this one out and replace it. But it does mean that there's about 2.5 more amp hours to this. So I got 641. It's most likely 643 or 644. And I'll go ahead and mark that down. I don't retest it just because it takes a whole day. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to show you that real quick, that I just found that one. So here's the discharge or capacity test station, but I'm going to go ahead and cut the video short here. The reason why is I really am trying to keep these under 20 minutes. But yeah, this is already pack 6 going. So like I said before, each video for the next 6 videos basically is going to have 5 time lapses in it, just kind of going through all 30 batteries. And also I did do a time lapse of all 5 packs, oh no, actually 4 of the packs. Basically going over each one after the discharge test and testing each cell, but not to brag, but basically the only one had a bad cell in it where it just didn't connect, and so I just had to replace that real quick. And so pack 4 isn't 641, it's basically 644 amp hours. So that's actually pretty good. 2 of them, or what, 3 of them came out to 644. One was a 640 but had no errors, so that kind of sucked. And then one was 646. So they all come out great so far. But again, we're going to keep going. The next video is going to be about the server cabinet. The good thing about that is I spent basically the long weekend cleaning out, well, moving stuff around in the garage, I should say. Just because the server cabinet was kind of hidden a little bit. Because I remember I had put this in pause, this whole project, but now that I'm back on it, I very much want to just get back to the server cabinet. And actually, what started that was my drill broke about 2 months ago, and I've just been kind of too lazy, and I knew I wasn't really going to get on the project for a bit. I didn't buy one, and then I have an awesome family who actually bought me a new drill, so I can really start getting back and doing that again. And that'll be great because I really want to get that server cabinet built, and I've got some good advice on what to do with that. So I'm really looking forward to just kind of going over it. And then starting to buy parts. And then we have the whole Batrium coming up. I still have to close these out with the acrylic and to put a voltmeter on here and some extra cables for the Batrium. And even the Batrium. I have a Batrium Watchmon 4 that I had for my old build that had a bunch of Longmons, but I don't know if I just want to buy 15 more Longmons and just stick with what I have, or get a whole new Batrium. Oh no, well, you'll notice that in the time lapse in 6. But yeah, I don't know if I want to get more Longmons, or if I just want to completely just get a whole new system and maybe sell the Watchmon 4. So I'm still kind of deciding what I want to do there. But until then, like, subscribe, and the next video should be back out. And I'm hoping 7 days. I want to get one out every week, but it looks like it's happening every 10 days to 2 weeks. But I will try to get one out a little sooner. But I really am kind of I work on these stuff every day, and I want to continue doing that. So everybody have a good one, and I hope to see you in the next one. All right, bye.